One more call? Do we do one more call? All right, one more call. One more call. All right. I'll take one more call. You're the last call of the day, all right?
All right. Thank you.
All right. What's your name?
My name is Julian.
Julian. How you doing, Julian? What do you want to talk about?
Hey, is this the gamer?
I am the gamer.
I thought you were his secretary. Thank
Nope.
you for taking my call, brother. I've
Nope,
been
this is
listening,
First
and I
Amender,
really,
First Amender himself. I have no secretary. There's no way I make that much money.
brother, I got to say, I really enjoy listening to you talk to these people. You're a level-head. I don't agree with you, but you're very level-headed, and I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you, my friend.
All right, yeah. Heck, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Was that all you wanted to say?
No, it's not. I mean, I really, to be honest with you, I don't know exactly what I want to say because there's so much that I want to share with you.
Okay.
That I'm interested in knowing your thoughts about.
All right.
But
Well, shoot one off. Top of your head.
okay, so what is gender? Just to piggyback off of a conversation you were having with the other gentleman, what is that conversation even about? Because I hear so many people talking about it, but it doesn't go anywhere. What is the conversation about?
Yeah, so it's numerous things, but if you really want me to break it down, like fundamentally what it is an internal feeling of your sex.
What does that mean?
Okay. So it's really hard for people to understand it if they are the same as their sex, because they never had that being challenged. But let me go ahead and put it into perspective for you. Let's say that you're growing up as a boy, you're living your life as a boy, you do boy things, you rough and tumble with all your friends who are also guys, playing manhunt and swords and, you know what I mean, sticks, fighting, tree houses, boy things, right? And then around 14 years old, God has played one heck of a cruel trick on you. And for whatever reason, you have gynecomastia, which is a condition that causes you, a boy, to grow breasts during puberty. Something inside would tell you, this isn't right, this isn't normal, this isn't who I am. That something inside, that's gender.
Well, you use the example of gynecomastia. Almost no one has gynecomastia. Why do you go to that to make your point?
I'm just using it as an example, so you understand the concept of gender.
Are you a witness to gynecomastia causing a boy to feel like a girl?
No.
So I have an interesting story. I was trans. I started cross-dressing when I was 12, and I came out as a trans woman when I was 18, and I lived that way until I was 23. Publicly, I lived as a woman. And so my thoughts about gender have nothing to do with that experience at all. I recognize gender, but let's look at the word. It's tied to the word genesis and genitalia. And so gender concerns creation. Would you agree with me there?
No.
Why not?
I'm actually not sure what the etymology is, but that doesn't sound correct. Let me see if I can find the etymology of gender.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that you care about etymology. Do you know what that word means in Greek?
So, gender comes from multiple different words, but it is mostly coming from the concept of genus, which is Latin for birth, family, and nation. And there is the old French term called genre, which would be a part of that. So it comes from
thank you.
genus, gender, and genre, and genus.
Absolutely. That word etymology in Greek, it literally means the study of truth. And so when we look at the root of a word, we get to the truth of it.
That's epistemology, not etymology.
Etim means truth. Ethnology means logic, and it's the study of truth.
Epistemology is the study of truth.
I invite you to look it up. Not now necessarily, but I have a point to make about what you said about these other words related
I'm telling
to
you
gender.
that's the study of truth is not etymology. It is epistemology.
Sir, I like you. You say that. I'm just saying to your audience, go look it up and don't trust either of us. Is that fair?
Okay, but I'm telling you with 100% certainty.
Have you ever made a mistake? Well, have you ever made a mistake, Mr.
Yes.
Gamer?
Yes.
Okay, this is a mistake.
First amender, by the
but
way.
It's
You don't
not
have to call me Mr. Gamer. Are you subscribed?
Well, what is your? Yes, I am.
Sick.
I am, man. I mean, YouTube revealed you to me a few weeks ago, and I've been enjoying you, man.
That's
and
great.
I'm so happy to finally fit into your tight schedule. So the point is, if you look at any of those words, it refers to the creation of a thing. Genesis, genus, genre, which is what characterizes the thing. So just being strictly technical, the word gender refers to the aspects of creation, which in the context of human anatomy is a penis or a vagina or the testes and the ovaries. Would you agree with that much?
No.
Okay, so there is an in-between. I don't deny that. But let's say that we're speaking of a spectrum. At one end is male genitalia, and at the other end is female genitalia. Do you recognize that? And that there are some things in between. Do we agree?
Sure.
Okay,
Yes.
So whenever I came out of my transgenderism, and the way that I did that was I was on hormone replacement therapy, and when I started getting fat, it made me panic, and I got introspective for the first time in my life, and I was like, Julian, why are you doing this? And I recognized a pattern in my childhood of humiliation, and I had recognized this whole thing as a manifestation of trauma. And I was trying to understand it. Before I came to that conclusion, I was trying to understand it, and I started to learn about what's it called, amniotic fluid. So whenever a person...
amniotic fluid?
Oh, yes. If I'm mispronouncing it, pardon me. But yes, so the fluid that we're suspended in utero. And this is such a critical thing in everybody. And look, I don't think politics is important. I think whether we have patience and forgiveness and love for one another, I think this is important. But if we want people to be well, it's important to remember that when we're all conceived, we are an amniotic fluid, and we need to know what that means. So whenever a woman is pregnant with a baby, if she goes through, and this is from a book that I read, I don't know, it was published in 2003. It's just called Amniotic Fluid Studies. I forget the school that published it. But my point is that whenever a woman goes through high levels of stress or she endures trauma while she is pregnant, she will have a spike in testosterone that will influence the baby. And at any given point during her pregnancy, it could influence the baby in a variety of different ways. It could influence the physical production of the person, or I guess in every case it's physical. In some cases, it renders a hermaphrodite. Right, so you have the introduction of a large amount of testosterone, which rapidly develops what's called the Wolffian duct, which turns into male genitalia. But if it happens later, then it rapidly develops a person's brain, and this is where the notion of hypermasculinization of the brain comes from. This is what we call autism. So my point is actually that autism and this. What is it? What's the word? Whenever people have mixed up genitalia, these actually exist on the same spectrum, and it has to do with whether or not a woman is traumatized during her pregnancy. because it's the introduction of excessive testosterone to the baby that causes these things. So that being said, do you have like a regular name?
Chromosomes and already is receiving testosterone or the presence of testosterone, and if it is going through additional stress, assuming it creates more testosterone. I haven't heard of that before. That's interesting, but assuming it does,
I'll post my sources in your group. I joined your Discord.
I can just take your word for it. It's okay. Just for the sake of
I joined your Discord, and I'm gonna post my sources because I want you to see what I'm referring to.
So, assuming that is the case, then that would effectively make that child even more manly. However, I would probably venture to say that if you're talking XX chromosomes and you have the introduction of more testosterone, then all intents and purposes, you end up, in the most extreme scenario, a female with androgen insensitivity syndrome.
What is that?
It's where they are XY, but the synthesis of testosterone can cause them to maintain female status. And then, of course, there's the instance of... Actually, now that I think about it, is there an instance of XX where it receives enough testosterone and becomes it becomes male?
Well, here's the thing. An XX individual can receive an abundance of testosterone in the circumstance that the pregnant woman is traumatized. But whenever you receive an excess amount of testosterone, that doesn't turn them into X.
Of course. I don't know why I didn't say this. Congenital adrenal hyperplasia. I bring this up all the time. I did not know that it worked in the opposite. It's because we often talk about, male to female as opposed to female to male. Whoa, what happened? Did it just hang up?
Maybe he dropped.
I think they dropped. Is this the same person I was just talking to?
Yeah, I apologize. Yeah. Okay. What I was saying was that the excess testosterone doesn't make it them XY. The chromosomes are what they are.
Yeah, the chromosomes remain the same. But yes, okay, it does appear that you can have an XX chromosomes, and when they have enough testosterone, they get congenital adrenal hyperplasia, which is a hormonal condition.
It's a tragedy. It really is. That ruins people's lives when this happens. And we have to remember that this is...
Well, it doesn't have to.
This is a curse. So I'll tell you that,
you think it's a curse to be trans?
Yes, and I don't mean that in an ugly way.
I think it's a curse right now because of the way that people treat trans people. But that's something that can be changed over time.
I'm asking you, I'm not saying to believe me, but I'm asking you to consider my perspective as a man who cross-dressed for 10 years and lived as a trans woman for 5 years. And then, Mr. Gamer, I became a Nazi for 5 years until I was saved by Jesus Christ. I have an interesting perspective, and I think I could shed light on this whole thing for you. I'm telling you that it's not a nice thing to be trans. It's nothing but pain and suffering. It's pure narcissism, and it's longing for death. That's what it feels like to be trans.
But I don't have any gender dysphoria. I only have gender euphoria. So,
well, what is that?
It's where you get the positive associations with being associated with the gender of that you like.
Might you agree with me that this whole category of gender and forming one's identity around it is not good?
No, I'm willing to acknowledge endocrinological differences across humans and realize that it's not a perfect binary, it's actually bimodal, and I'd be perfectly accepting of trans individuals, and I believe that they are due their humanity just as every other individual.
I agree with you, and if it were not people who thought the way that you think, then I would already be dead, because I was on my deathbed before I met the woman who gave me my children and saved me. But I did this for 5 years. And and
thought
it
you
was
said
it
you
was
did it for
pain.
10.
No, I cross-dressed for 10 years before I came out as trans.
Okay.
So it was 15
you?
years altogether. I'm 33.
Okay. Do you
Half
think
my
that
life,
you have
man,
a different
half of my life.
experience from other trans individuals? Because there's most trans people do not regret their transition.
Well, I'm not sure.
If anything,
what
most
you
trans people
categorize as transition.
specifically
What is
say,
a transition? What does that mean? Because I was on hormone replacement therapy.
yeah,
What
that
does
would
it
be a
mean to
part of
transition to
transitioning.
you?
Yeah, I mean, it could just be clothing.
Many
it
people
could
say
just-
they transition without taking hormones.
That's correct. Yeah.
I'm not denying anybody their experience. God knows I experienced literally the same exact thing. And it was hard, my friend. It was very hard. Do you know about the connection between being a transgender person and being a pervert? Do you know about this?
No. I've heard of older studies that talk about what is it? It's got a word for it. Autogynephilia. I've heard
There's
of that.
a man
This
called.
is largely disproven in later literature.
Well, I mean, it's literally what it is. Auto being self, gyna being vagina, and philia being loving. So loving the idea of oneself having a vagina. That's being a trans woman. But that's not exactly what I'm talking about. So there's a guy called Magnus Hirschfeld, which was the first person to really kind of publicize this notion of being transgender. Have you heard of Magnus?
Magnus Hirschfeld?
Yeah.
No, not off the top of my head.
So he was doing something really amazing. I mean, and we're talking about late 1800s. You know, he surveyed. Survey the right word? He interviewed men who experienced gender dysphoria in a multitude of different ways. It manifests. It doesn't necessarily manifest the same way in everybody. But anyway, he interviewed them and he made a safe space for them to where, like, let's talk about what you have lived through and what you are living through without any scrutiny necessarily, but just to try to understand this phenomenon, of cross-dressing. So the underlying thing is, how do you say it? I'm trying to remember the name of his book, actually. It's The Erotic Drive to Cross-Dress. So it is an erotic, that's how it begins. And this is how it began for me, as an erotic drive. And I don't know how much you've been in the tranny scene. I was in it a lot.
All right,
but they're
word,
obsessed.
bro. I'm starting to get some pretty nasty vibes from you.
It's just a word. It's just a short term.
Yeah, but I don't,
okay?
I don't like the T slur with a Y, bro. Chill. You could just say trans.
Well, I didn't mean it that way. Pardon me, but I did mean it because I'm coming now from the context of porn, because trans women love to generate porn, and I did when I was a trans woman. I never was with a man, but it becomes a hypersexual fetishization.
Yes, because people tend to sexualize it, and then there's also the fact that a lot of trans people have a difficult time finding a job, and they end up finding ends meet through sex work.
Well,
it's a mode of classic exploitation. It's terrible.
I mean, that's fair. That's a fair point. But I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought. No, this is what I found out whenever I was getting fat on hormone replacement therapy and I became introspective. I had looked at I was like, Julian, why are you doing it? And I looked at my life and I recognized a pattern of humiliation concerning girls that I liked. And I had high anxiety my entire adolescence because of this. And by the time I turned 12. This was the moment for me. Some of my cousins were sleeping at my house, and one of my cousins dared me to try on his sister's panties. And showing off for my big cousin, I did. And then he got a kick out of going and telling my mom. And then she comes and sees me and beats the shit out of me. And that was extremely traumatizing. And that commingled with being afraid of girls and then putting on a woman's garment. And this turned into the coping mechanism, which is cross-dressing. And so I started coping with being afraid of girls and so desiring to be with a girl by cross-dressing. And it was,
that doesn't make any sense. Your desire was there to be with a girl, and so the way that you're going to be with a girl is you're going to cross-dress? How does that work?
Yes, this is a meme in the trans community. Can't get GF, become GF. It's like, because it's a sexual thing. When you're going through puberty, you want to be close to a woman, and you identify this clothing with a woman. And so you feel like it's the closest you can get. And then here's the thing.
It's strange. I don't know.
So
doesn't make any sense.
Well, you say you don't agree with it. I'm just giving you, as a person who lived it, I invite you to go on Tumblr. Go look on Tumblr, dude. Look it up on Tumblr. You'll find out.
Okay, but I'm not like looking for Tumblr. I'm looking for like academic research.
Well, you should be looking for testimony of the people who are living through it, because academics aren't living it.
I'm one of
the
those
people who are living it.
What is this? What do you want?
What
are you expecting?
What do you mean, what do I want? I'm giving you some perspective, and I'm asking for your thoughts on it.
Okay. Well, I think that you have a very different experience to what most trans people are exhibiting, and I think that you're attributing that towards all trans people, and that it ought to be that way towards all trans people. But I believe that, like with all trans people, that it's different, and some people may be very satisfied from it, while others may not. I'll venture even to say that maybe there's a sexualization behind it for some, but for a lot, that's not the case. And again, it's a multifaceted thing of complex feelings that lead a person to go down that rabbit hole. And me personally, like, whatever the reason is, I want to ensure that people are not being treated badly, and that people are being taken care of. That people have the ability
Amen.
to live their life as they see fit, provided that they are not harming other individuals. That's the way that I
Amen, my brother. We may not see eye to eye about this, but that we do see eye to eye about. There is no use in rhetoric to try to convince somebody that the way they're living is wrong. If you think somebody's living wrong, you need to just have patience with them and forgive them and love them. And love is the only way that we can help anybody, not with rhetoric and criticism. Amen.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, I actually got to get going because we're a good 20 minutes past the show's end. I decided to take this last call. I'm glad I did. This is a good conversation. But I hope to have you around for next Thursday.
Yes, my friend. Thank you so much for having me. God bless you. I'll talk to you later. Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Well, we have reached the end of the show.
Dude,
Woo!
I'm
Back-to-back
so
calls.
spent.
Man, dude, if I did not stop the show, then we'd be here all night. People would be calling in.
I wouldn't, because I need to be up in like 5 hours. So
I know you do. I got to be up too, so you're good. I get it. All right, everybody. I thank y'all very much. I'm glad y'all joined in on the show. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, consider subscribing. I'm a very small YouTuber, so any amount is huge. 1, 2, 3. Hey, that was a successful stream for me. And as well, join my new Discord channel. We talk quite often on that server. You will find I'm there for most of the time. Discord.gg/First Amender. If you want to have conversations, we can. It's usually just me and my friends where we're hanging out. So if you want to hang out too, join the Discord server. Thank you all very much and have a